Hey guys, Crozo here, back with another Mythic Plus video for ya. Today, I'm talking about a plus 11 Siege of Boralus I ran just earlier. Now, I finished at 1.3 million DPS-ish. Not too bad. I found in the key that I kept holding my cooldowns a bit too long, so I'll mention that when I watch the VOD. And before I get into the VOD, I just want to go over my talents real quick. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see these talents are the same ones I run pretty much every time. Yes, I run Shadow Bolt, not Drain Soul. I love the mobility you get with Shadow Bolt, and then being able to apply Shadow's Embrace it's much easier to do with Shadow Bolt compared to Drain Soul. Also, I'm not running Demonic Circle. Instead, I'm using this Sweet Artifice talent here, so I can battle res people, in half the time. It's really nice. It's actually saved me in quite a few dungeons. Somebody dies and I have to be res mid-pull. But if you're in a group with a paladin or like a druid or something with a fast or instant B-res, you don't necessarily have to take this one, if you think that they are going to be on top of B-reses. Alright, so anyways, let's go ahead and get into the key. Okay. So before we get into the key, I'm going to showcase a little tip that somebody left in one of the comment sections under one of my videos. So if you use Fel Domination before the key starts, you'll have the buff from Fel Domination and can summon your pet during the 10-second timer, and this won't be on cooldown. It's really cool. But somebody told me that if you use Eye of Kilrog, your pet won't despawn at all. Found that kind of neat, so I'll pre-pop my damage potion, and then I have Kilrog, and you'll see that my pet will stay summoned. So I don't need to resummon him. Kind of cool. So for this key as Affliction, I find that the first pack or two are quite annoying actually. This first pack has I think 2 or 3 elite mobs, and then like 3 non-elites or something. And then the second pack is similar. It has 2 or 3 elite mobs and then non-elites. Running this dungeon, if you have like a Frost DK and Ret, or a Fury Warrior, some melee cleave that just destroys them instantly, it feels so bad trying to keep up on damage these first couple packs. You'll see, luckily I can do some damage to them in this group. But whenever I run this place, depending on what classes I'm playing with, I'll use cooldowns or I won't use them. Like if I have a Frost DK and a Ret, I'm just going to hold my cooldowns this pack and use them on the second pack. But here, I'll just go ahead and send them on pull. And so this mob here, I'm targeting the Enforcer. He just casted. He has a... Oops, going forward. That spell, the Shattering Bellow. It's an interrupt. He has a frontal, so you want to stay far away. And just dodge the fire on the ground. The interrupt, it's only 1 second if you get caught during your spell cast. But since we're running Shadow Bolts, and then we have, Agony you can do, Corruption, you can do Mortal Coil. You have so many instant cast things you can do. It just makes no sense to get caught while you're casting. No, use an instant cast instead. Or just stop casting for half a second. This pack has a really dirty overlap, where the one guy will pull you into him and do his big AoE, and then another mob has a frontal. It is quite disgusting if you get pulled into the frontal. It's like the 1-2 knockout combo. That frontal right there. Yeah, actually exactly that combo. The shaman got one shot by it, and I'm not sure how I didn't die. So I see here that my Soul Rot was up, but I figured I'll save it for the next pull because I know the next pack will be big. I'm not sure why I didn't send it because my 2 minutes were on cooldown anyways. But here I should have sent my Soul Rot, but I didn't. I think I was focused on not dying, and I saw the shaman was dead, so I wasn't paying attention to my cooldowns. Yeah, in this week's Affix, it relies on being healed or dispelling. It is possible, for warlocks, we can use our imp to dispel. But in dungeons, where there's a bunch of kicks where you need your Fel Hunter to interrupt, obviously you shouldn't be using your Imp. On certain bosses, you'll see that I use the Imp though, and I can dispel that way on boss fights where interrupts aren't important. For like the last boss in this dungeon, we always run Imp to dispel the water debuff. There I get kicked. I have a real knack for standing in the AoE on the ground. I love standing in the wrong place.
Inevitably, the void consumes.
Yeah, so this Affix here. Healer has to heal it, or you have to get spelled. If you're kind of low HP, you can use your Soul Burn and Health Stone to heal a lot, and it might heal the entire mechanic off. But normally when I have that have the Affix, I'm full HP anyways, so I can't Health Stone to tech. That's another thing too. Overall DPS in this dungeon feels pretty good as Affliction, but just the first little while it's just packs of 3, packs of 3, packs of 5, but half are non-elites. And it's just quite annoying. You know, I wish there were bigger packs that live longer. Right there, I was kind of freaking out. I wanted to make sure I killed the mob from the first pack before I moved on to attacking the second pack. Because those mobs who throw the fire will just sit back and throw fire at you until they die. And I figure I'd rather just focus it and kill it before I swap to this group over here.
Consumes everything.
I used my Mad Queen's Mandate trinket while moving. The mob lived with like 100k HP, so my cooldown didn't reset, which is quite unfortunate. And for this dungeon, I really like having Mad Queen's Mandate. Just not only because Mad Queen's Mandate hits really hard, but because this boss, he's got the damage taken increase. I forget if it's 50% or 100% increased damage, but it feels really nice having Mad Queen's Mandate on this boss. That, and obviously Spy Master's Web is my other trinket. I really like it, too. I had a Myth Track Unbound Changeling in my vault this week, but I ended up not taking it. And I am now regretting my decision. But that's okay. I'll never see it again though. So on this pack here, I went ahead and sent my 1 minute and 2 minute cooldowns. Because I know we have one more trash pack at the left to kill. And after we kill that pack, we'll get on the boss. But I'm not going to pop my cooldowns on the boss for a little while. For the boss fight, he has to like chase you and you run him into the bombs. And that's when I'm popping cooldowns. But I figure I'll just, you know, use them because I still have a lot of time until I press them again. This camera angle is the absolute worst. And I know I have time. I don't have time to use my cooldowns. It might have been tempting to use them there, but I'm just save them for the boss. I don't need to destroy these 2 ads too hard. Yeah, so for this boss, what he'll do is he'll target a random ranged player. So either me or the shaman. I don't think he targets healers. I don't know. Maybe he targets healers. And then he will just chase you around the room. And there's going to be, from one of these ships, they're going to shoot cannonballs that have bombs. When he chases you, you run him into the bomb. And then he blows up. And then he takes increased damage. I forget how much. 50 or 100%. That's when we're going to pop Lust. And I'm going to use my cooldowns. On pull, I'm going to go ahead and dot these ads, but he targets me, so I just want to finish my casts, and then I start running. Generally, I just try and run around and keep him in the middle here, so that whenever a bomb does drop, it's easier for me to run him to it. So here, I'm behind the bomb. I'm going to go ahead and reapply my dots real quick, then pop my cooldowns. Unfortunately, my Dark Glare and my Racial aren't up yet. Even without them, though, I'm doing decent damage. And luckily, there's a bomb right next to him, so when my cooldowns are still up, he'll walk into the next bomb, I can get some casts off with them up still. Okay, so it's 50% increased damage. And these adds will just permanently spawn throughout the fight too. I think every, like a certain percentage of his health, he keeps spawning adds. So I'm going to go ahead and dot them up, just to help get aggro off my tank. And to pad my damage a bit too while I'm at it. There's no more bombs up right now, so this guy's just running away from the boss. This boss also has some pretty bad overlaps with the bull. He can pull you into the frontal from the adds, and that's just quite annoying. How it worked out, we didn't have time to get him into a third bomb. Or maybe he'll die at the third bomb. Not bad. I used Mad Queen's Mandate, and I was checking the damage there. And it looks like it did like 9 million damage or something. Let's see if I can mouse over it quickly. The Mad Queen's Mandate, sorry, it crit for 17 million, I forgot. So it crit and did 17 million damage because it did 50% increased damage. Nice, not bad.
Heroes, my scouts report heavy fighting near the palace.
So for here, I'm not sure if he's going to pull the pack behind this or not. So I'm saving my Vile Tant in case he pulls the Pat, and he does, so I'm glad I saved it. Then I can see the Corruption and the Vile Tant, these other 3 adds that got pulled in. Except for the one mob who charged out of the group, of course. And then of course I was dotting and had the mechanic, so by the time I get my dots up, the non-elites are dead. Like, I hate dungeons that have so many non-elite mobs. It's so frustrating as a dot class. Kind of the same in Grimbatol, in that first hallway, because we ride the dragons and you set all the mobs to like 1 HP. Playing Affliction feels so bad in that room because you can't do any damage. It's so terrible. Up here, we're just going to go ahead and kill this pack. And then we're going to let the tank run down the hallway and stop the guys shooting their guns, little RP shooting thing. You could also Warlock Gateway down this hallway. But there's a skip that I usually do with my friend after this hallway. So I don't use my gateway. Because in case they want to skip some mobs. But this tank's a monk anyways, so he doesn't need my gateway. He can just fly down the hallway instantly. I'll show you the skip I'm talking about shortly after we get through the hallway. And I don't want to risk getting one shot, so I just sit back. I sit back and wait for him to actually engage the mobs before I move up. You can hide behind the barrels and stop taking damage, but I don't care enough to get a second extra of damage on these non-elites. Also, these water mobs are some of the most annoying Mythic Plus mobs probably ever. They love to just run away and run into other packs or run in such annoying ways. Okay, so you'll see in chat here, I'm about to ask the tank if he wants to skip. And I'll show you the skip afterwards. Also note too, this mob is about to die. I don't have time to damage it, but I drop Unstable Affliction on it. So as it dies, I get a Soul Shard. It didn't die yet actually, but when it dies, I'll get an extra one. So the skip I'm talking about is if I stand right down here on this little stone spot, you can gateway from here onto the bridge. The tank's going to pull these mobs, so we're not skipping it obviously. But in the key, I went ahead and dropped the gateway anyways. So I'll show you after we kill this pack. And if you use that gateway, you can skip this pack on the bridge. Because this pack's kind of annoying. It's not terrible. There's just a sniper. And then we have the guy who does the charge and stuff. But not a sniper, a spotter. I guess the good thing about killing this pack, though, is that I can go ahead and use my cooldowns on it, because there's trash up there. One sec. So, I run up on this. Yeah, I drop my gateway. You can't drop it past this line. Your gateway has to be behind this line on the bridge, like right here where my mouse is. And if you take the gateway, you'll skip this pack entirely, which is cool. Now, for some reason, though, when I drop that gateway, people never seem to be able to take it correctly. I don't know. They can't click it, I think, because they stay on the bridge, and they try and click it from the bridge, but they can't reach it or it doesn't work or something. But they end up jumping off and then pulling the pack anyways. So that skip works, but it's quite frustrating to make working pugs sometimes if they've never seen it before. On this pack here, I had no soul shards, so I opened up with my Vile Taint because I wanted to generate some soul shards from Agony being on the mobs. But like I generated one, and I couldn't get Seed of Corruption off because they spread out, and then my Agony started falling off, so it felt pretty bad on this pack. In a pack like this, with there's non-elites like that, I would suggest Seed of Corruption and then spreading Agonies, and trying to get UA on a non-elite as it dies to get more soul shards. But I pretty much wasted my Vile Taint by not being able to rapture during it. Okay, so going into this boss, I have my 40 stack Spymaster's Web. I haven't used it since the first boss. I passively have like 3700 intellect, which is awesome. But going into this boss, I know I have my cooldowns up in 30 seconds, which is pretty much perfect for when the ads are going to spawn. Boss 2 phases and 3 ads come out from the boat, and then you have to kill them to phase her back. They come out every 33%. So 66%, 33%. But I know that I got a Fury Warrior and an Elemental Shaman. So I type in chat, like I'm asking, do you guys have cooldowns for these ads? I can't spell, and I was under pressure not to die to mechanics. So when I type it, it's like kind of hard to read. But I figure the Fury Warrior and the Elemental Shaman will kill the ads. So I just save mine. I used like Vile Taint on them, and I save my cooldowns for the boss. And I do a bunch of damage to the boss, and we phase her very quickly because I saved mine. Side note: when they're coming on, like when the ads are on the boat running, you can target them on the boat too. I just missed them when I was clicking like a total noob. And yeah, as I suspected, those two just destroyed these ads. And we're waiting for somebody to click the thing. You can also target her as she's flying over. You can't tab target her. I was spamming tab to target her. You can't tab target until she lands. But when she's jumping in the air, you can click her, and it'll work just fine. Whoops. You can click her and go target her and cast on her in the air. I'll go ahead, use my Nightfall procs, and then I'll go ahead and pop my cooldowns. I have everything. Damage potion, everything. Necron's Mandate. And then I'll just blast her down to 33% so we can phase faster.
Inevitably, the void consumes everything.
So she phased. We have one more set of ads coming. I target them midair. I'm applying corruption to them. So that way when my Vile Taint is off cooldown, I can Vile Taint them. But I use it on the boss, so it's not actually up. But like for the first set of ads, you target them, corruption, corruption, corruption. And then when they land, you Vile Taint them all 3, and then you start rapturing immediately. My Vile Taint was on cooldown, so obviously I didn't do that, but whatever. Then the boss is pretty much dead here. Please play out to the last 20%. And we keep going. I go ahead and use Soul Rot just to keep it on cooldown. We kill this boss, and then there's like another one of those little areas where the mobs shoot at you and you have to hide. So I know I'll have about a minute before the next trash pack anyways. So just dropping my Soul Rot, putting it on cooldown is better than holding it. This place, just like the hallway from before, these mobs shoot at you. They will kill you in probably a second, maybe half a second. So I kind of just run up to the water fountain, and I wait. I let the tank do it. I could have dropped him a gateway, but I didn't. I just didn't do it. So I don't want to risk it, because in these keys, when you die, you lose so much time. It's just not worth it. I wait until he actually is up there and makes the mobs despawn. Until I come out. There you go. So I know we're safe. And then we're just going to keep doing the rest of the dungeon. I'm opening my bag here. I open my bags to try and find invisibility potions, because what my tank wants to do is skip a trash pack later, and I'll make note of it beforehand. But I want to make sure that I'll have time to use my Invis potion, because I used it on the boss as well. Invis potion shares a cooldown with damage potions. I didn't use my Invis potion. I used a damage potion, but they share cooldown. Bit of a misspeaking there. I strategically walk out of the Spirit Link Totem. I just want to make sure my healer's, you know, putting in effort. I don't want to make it too easy for him. And while I'm at it, I think I walk in some more banana stew.
Inevitably, the void consumes everything.
I found my potion here. It shares a cooldown with my damage potion. They're both on 3 minutes. But we're skipping one pack that's really difficult to deal with, especially with casters, because they just one-shot squishies. For some reason, I used Soul Rot before I used my Unstable Affliction and Haunt. I'm not sure why I did that. You should always have your dots up first, and then go into your cooldowns, because I wasted, like 2 seconds of my Soul Rot. But with just no point to waste my time like that. And then I also go ahead and tab target the mobs to apply Agony. My thought process is that I want to save Vile Taint for the next pack, but my Agony falls off and has to restack. And if I used Vile Taint, it would have been up for the next pack anyways, probably. And Mad Queen's Mandate comes in clutch at the end of a pack to try and help me catch up in DPS. So, one thing I want to say here is that I knew he was pulling in another mob. So before that mob comes in, I start putting agonies up on mobs and stuff. But I want to have Seed of Corruption blow up on this guy. But I've already targeted a mob. I'm going to cast it on. What I do is I press Seed of Corruption, and then I target off of the mob that my Seed of Corruption is on. The Seed of Corruption, it blows up at the end of its duration, or if the enemy takes a certain amount of damage from you. So if I put Seed of Corruption on an ad, and then I don't attack the ad, Seed of Corruption will take a lot longer to pop. So that way, going into a pack, or if I have mobs that I'm trying to wait and let them get gathered, I can have Seed of Corruption ready to pop when I want it to. That mob was close enough, so it didn't really matter. But, like, for example, in my video about Heroic Queen Ansarek, there's a bridge with some ads. I used the same trick there. I go ahead and put my cooldowns here. I know we're skipping the next pack, so I just want to get them on cooldown, because we're not going to have, we're not going to be attacking for a little bit.
Inevitably, the void consumes everything.
Another thing about these Murlocs is that they love to run away when they're low HP, and that's pretty annoying. For my Invis, I'm telling them I got 20 seconds. I dismissed my pet too. I haven't used an Invis pot this expansion so far, and I think your pet doesn't go Invis. I don't want to pull, so just dismiss my pet. I'll summon him later. So, go ahead, pop it, run around. I make sure I run right into the tree. And since I'm a warlock, I can summon the guys who potions are on cooldown or don't have potions. So we're just going to go here and summon them. We'll see one of them walks into the mobs and dies. Not you. Yeah, so what happened here is I started summoning one guy, and then the warrior clicked my summon and then moved, so it canceled my summon. And then he starts summoning. But if you read the chat, it's funny. He summon the wrong person. He ends up summoning the tank. And the tank's like, what the hell? Why'd you summon me? Let me waste a bit more time. It's okay though, because that pack that we skipped, it does a lot of damage. So either you save your cooldowns for that pack and just kind of obliterate them, or you skip them. Because some high keys like this, they definitely do an insane amount of damage. And in our group, we have a lot of AoE stops to actually CC them, but it's still a lot of damage incoming. On this pack here, I just want to go ahead and use my 2-minute cooldowns, because we're going to pull 2 more packs before the boss. This next room has 3 packs, but we're skipping 1 pack, because it also has a bunch of those snipers, and those snipers do a bunch of damage. We just skipped a pack of 4 snipers, and the one in there, I think it has maybe 2 or 3 snipers, I forget. Oh, we skipped that one too. I make sure I apply UA to the ad before it dies, so that I can get a soul shard. I want to make sure that between packs, I'm trying to save some soul shards if I can. Because earlier, I didn't have soul shards, and then I couldn't use Seed of Corruption and Vile Taint, and that felt really bad. So when you're about to finish a pack, it's, not a bad idea to, save a soul shard, like bank 1 or 2. Realistically, it's best if you have a soul shard, and then you have Unstable Affliction on the mob dying. So that way you're not like wasting soul shards holding them too long. But also you'll have enough to get started on the next pack to do damage. I think I go ahead and just send full right here to get it on cooldown. Yeah. Even though these mobs are almost dead and there's only 3 of them, I just want to get it on cooldown so that it'll line up when I'm on the boss. Okay, so we kill these. And yeah, my cooldowns will all be up at about 30 seconds. And I still have my 40 stack Spymaster's Web. This dungeon, I really am using it exclusively on the bosses. Which I think honestly is fine. It's a bit hard to have like a perfect, idea of when to use Spymaster's Web in a lot of these dungeons. Because you don't know, before going into it, how fast your group's going to kill packs or like what you're going to pull, stuff like that. Saving it for bosses is honestly fine. So we killed the 2 packs. We're pulling boss next. I'm telling them careful, because we are skipping this pack over here. This pack is not very fun to kill. It's got snipers. It's got the guy who pulls you in and does the AoE. We're going to skip it. But when we have to dodge the waves for this boss, we just need to make sure we don't walk too far that way. So when we're dodging waves, we'll try and stay closer to the pillar, like this big statue, but, right in the water part here.
Full fathom 5, your bones shall lie.
We're going to lust this boss too. Up everything. You want to make sure too that when you're, just hitting the boss in this fight, he'll drop puddles on the ground like this. You don't want to be standing right on the edge of the pillar, because when you have to walk around the pillar to hide from the waves, if there's stuff on the ground, you're just going to take a bunch of damage for no reason. You see, not to pull that pack, we're right up on the edge of the pillar. And as soon as this ends, we're going to run and spread out. Because as soon as the tornadoes come through, he's going to drop more stuff on the floor, and we don't want to have it under the pillar where we're standing. Also, on this boss here, I could have my imp. Because of this week's affix, you can remove it by dispelling. So if I thought about it, after we killed the last bit of trash, I can swap to my imp, because there's no more interrupts for the dungeon. I can swap to imp and dispel my affix here, but, like I said before, I don't want to make it too easy for the shaman, so I just keep using Fell Hunter. I check my crit. I'm at 53% crit. Pretty awesome, because this gives me 20%. Go ahead and pop my damage cooldowns again. We dodge the waves. One thing to note too, this doesn't happen in this kill, but the waves, they spawn like in the playable area, right? You can stand where these waves spawn. So for example, if we're killing the guy here, and I'm standing on this pot by these trees, the waves spawn here. So if you're standing in the wrong place, the waves can spawn on you and kill you. And that happened to me before. I was standing on this back wall down here, and the waves spawned where I was standing and one-shot me. So keep that in mind too. Like staying around like the sidewalky part is definitely the best place to hang out. I run out again for the floor stuff. I'm not sure why that went down so hard, but we took a lot of damage. Here's this frontal. He does more floor stuff in a second. And then we'll do the waves again. So like I mentioned a second ago, the waves can spawn on the edge of the playable area. And I just so happen to be on the edge of the playable area. And I realized that, and I'm like, oh shit. I'm lucky it didn't spawn on us, because it would have killed us. That's where we were standing. We run over, we dodge this one more time. We got really unlucky with the frontal and the waves. I knew the frontal was pretty slow, so I had time. And the boss ran really fast out of my bile taint, so I wasted it. I go ahead and pop my 2 minutes here, because we have plenty of time to use our cooldowns on the last boss. So I'm not worried about having them up for the first area, because I'm sure these two might have cooldowns up. So I use my Queen's Mandate, kill the boss, and get ready. So here, the last boss, we want to summon our imp. There's a normal dispel on this fight. It puts a blue circle on 2 people, and they take a bunch of damage. So having a second dispel in the group to help your healer is really important. When you dispel people, though, there's going to be a ring around them. If somebody else is in the ring with them when you dispel them, you will blow up the other player. Not cool. So make sure when you dispel somebody, they're not stacking on someone. I'm talking so much. So, you'll see there, I soul stoned myself before the pull. I'm the only battle reser in the group, so I want to make sure that if I die on this boss, I can get rezzed. We have 3 battle reses. Imagine if I died, and then, like, I can't be battle rezzed. That would just be awful. So I need to make sure that I can res myself if I die. Also, you'll see that I have my imp out. The imp's range is weird. The imp, he's kind of like how I play. He wants to attack the enemy without moving at all. So he'll attack them from the farthest range possible if he can. What that means is, when I want to dispel somebody, if the imp is here attacking this one, and the guy I want to dispel is all the way up here near my buffs in the top right, my imp will have to go move over there before he can dispel them. So I'll click the dispel, and it's like I have high ping, because they won't get dispelled until 2 or 3 seconds later, because the imp is running over. So before the fight, what I do is you can't see because of this chat box, I have the keybind for moving my pet, controlling his location. I'm going to move my imp right here to the middle, between the cannon. So that way, from where he's standing, he can dispel here, or here, or here. He can dispel the whole area from one spot. And then when we move to the next area, I'll control his movement and move him over there. And then I move him again to the 3rd place, so I can always dispel without having a huge delay on it. And I asked the healer to let me dispel first, because it makes it easier for me to dispel if I can just get someone as soon as I see them. But this healer was like competing with me or something, so we both tried to dispel the same people, and it's just really awkward. I got kind of flustered. I threw my Vile Taint in a weird spot. Just all around awkward. As Affliction Warlock 2, you always want to cleave these 2 ads when you can. I instant dispel myself. You want to cleave these ads. The Demolishing Terror is the one that actually has mechanics. The Gripping Terror does nothing besides hold the NPC. So like, you always want to focus the Demolishing Terror first. This one's just whatever. I see here the other casters are near me, so I'm going to move out in case I need to be dispelled. Because if you're in this blue circle, you'll get blown up if it gets dispelled. Me and the Shaman overlapped our dispels here, because he's competing with me to go faster. So this guy doesn't get dispelled. That's okay. as a warlock, we want to go ahead and drop our demonic gateway, just so we get over here a bit faster. So I'll let somebody else do the cannon. I drop a gateway. I make sure nobody's dead, and then we're going. Now, I controlled my imp. I moved him over here to the middle. He's right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put dots on the mob in the back. And then I'm going to get in position to full focus the mob in front of me. I have all my cooldowns up and almost max stacked by Master's Web, so I'm just going to send everything here. 36 stacks is enough. Here, since they're all coming towards me, I try and make sure I'm out of the way of everybody else, so I don't stack near them. That's about it. I change my camera angle so I can see who I have to dispel. Use Mad Queen's Mandate, kill the ad, and then we're going to the last part. Here's me controlling my imp. You can only control him so far. There's a dispel that needs to be done behind me, but I've already moved my imp, and my imp is out of range. You can see here. I'm targeting this guy, but my imp is already out of range. So like when I'm trying to dispel him, my imp isn't nearby, so he's gonna have to like turn around and run back, and it's really awkward. So it was just unlucky timing for the dispel to come out, but that's okay. I'll start dispelling on the last platform. I move my imp. I'll put him like right about here in the middle. You see him running up here. He'll catch up. And I always like to stand on top of these stairs, because you can see everything from up here. You can be healed by your healer. And also, the puddles don't really spawn up on these stairs. The puddles you have to dodge. Let's see, I'm just getting destroyed for some reason. I'm not sure what's happening. I pop every defensive I have, just try and live. The puddles really aren't on the stairs. And the higher up you go, the more safe it is. Healer comes up and joins me, so I have to move. I don't want to stack with the dispels. And see, because where my imp is, if I had my imp like right here, I'd LOS myself. So make sure when you move your imp, put him in a place where he can see everything. See, I moved him forward a bit just in case they were around this corner. My imp is an LOS of people, so I can dispel them. Nice. Use Mad Queen's Mandate, snipe the ad, and then that's gonna be the dungeon. So pretty good. Our group did pretty well. We only had 3 deaths throughout the dungeon, and one of those is because we failed the invis skip. He didn't have his potion. Yeah, it was a good group. I was happy with this. One thing I found funny though, out of this key, is that oops, my game closed. That I had the most interrupts as well. This dungeon, there's definitely a lot of spells to kick, but there's nothing that's super priority, like the ads and Necrotic Wake or something, where those interrupts are really, really important. In this dungeon, there's some, but really it's just kicking like damaging spells or whatever. But I was the top over 2 shamans and a warrior, so I'm happy about that. But anyways, that's going to be the key. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.